The uncounted 7,854,928. I've told you, the dirty little secret of American elections is that we don't count all the ballots, and we sure as hell don't allow every citizen to vote. In total, no less than 5,872,857 ballots were cast and never counted in 2016. In addition, a minimum of 1,982,071 voters were blocked from casting their ballots. That is a total of 7,854,928 votes and voters left uncounted. Voting in America, especially for the young and voters of color, is an obstacle course. Your registration is blocked, and if you're registered, you get purged. You can't get a ballot because you brought the wrong student ID, or you get a provisional ballot that's thrown away, or lucky you get to vote on a real ballot and it's not counted, residual, or spoiled, or mailed in, you left off the second stamp. I could go on. But what's the bottom line? How many votes lost? How many registrations zapped? I can only give you these calculations based on 2016 data reported to the EAC, Census, Federal Elections Commission, and the Quadrennial Survey of the Performance of American Elections, SPAE. Write this down. Provisional ballots rejected, 925,973. Ballots rejected, 1,913,369. Mail-in ballots rejected and lost, 3,033,515. Registrations purged, 1,088,400. Long lines, 247,000 people turned away. Wrong ID, 646,671. Votes uncounted and voters blocked added up, 7,854,928. Let's do a quick walkthrough of this voting casualty ward. Provisional ballots. Those tranquilizer ballots are limited to states and counties that report to the EAC. It does include some partially counted ballots. Ballots rejected. The votes of those residual voters, as in Michigan, where the 75,355 were not counted when the ballot scanners broke down in Detroit. Mail-in ballots rejected. That includes both the 512,696 ballots received and rejected, and the bigger sum of voters who did not receive their mail-in ballots on time or did not receive them at all. Registrations purged. Given that 340,134 and more were wrongly purged in Georgia alone, and another 500,000 were wrongly purged in Ohio, and 170,008 were wrongly placed on the Wisconsin purge list, how come I'm only showing 1 million voters shafted in 2016? First, someone who's lost their right to vote may not try or want to vote or take a provisional ballot. Finally, I chose the most conservative number I could find, those reporting to Census and SPAE that they could not vote because of registration problems. And let me remind you, these numbers reflect the horror show of 2016. Since then, leading to 2020, the purges have accelerated at warp speed. Long lines. I used the MIT SPAE data on folks discouraged by long lines, the lowest number I could find. I left out folks whose polling stations could not be located. Not a small problem. Wrong ID. This includes those who were told they could not vote at the polling station and those that did not try because they didn't have the required ID. I'm also excluding well over 1 million more who thought they didn't have the right ID. And some did receive provisional ballots. I recognize that experts at the Brennan Center and elsewhere will find this estimate ridiculously low. So argue with me. Experts will say I'm low, and the perpetrators of this anti-voting crime will say I'm way high, in both senses of the term. Whatever may be the necessary refinement of these numbers, this is an American tragedy, a democracy holocaust, a term no one in my family would use without careful forethought. It is a metastasizing cancer on our democracy because the voters blocked and the votes uncounted are not anything close to random. It's Jim Crow and Jose Crow and Kim Crow. And in 2020, the big new target of aggression and suppression, younger voters.